Welcome to the December 8th, 2020 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. Man, I wish I could have done that intro that smoothly like 3 years ago. I am your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
I didn't even need to do any retakes or anything. Remember how I used to, just fumble over my words and then do, 3 restarts?
And everybody would get madder and madder.
And now we've gone from 5 regular members to 2.
Yeah, they've been too mad. But that's my secret vice. I'm always mad.
That's not why they left.
It was solely because of Vice flubbing the intro once.
What? Jesus. But yeah, we have another wonderful week here. Got a lot of pretty crazy stuff that happened this week. In news, but there's some really interesting stuff too. So I think this is gonna be a really cool episode, just to have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Nothing gigantic, but the stuff that is here is really interesting. First one to top it all off, this one is something that you know a bit better than I do. But Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers was announced. From what I understand, people were anticipating this to be almost like a Soulsborne-like.
That's the thing. I can't really tell you about the gameplay or the plot of this thing, but there does appear to be some kind of Souls-like aesthetic, and the music in the trailer kind of alludes to that. And I saw a screenshot of a bunch of different character classes.
Victorian kind of look, or almost like a Lovecraftian era kind of deal going on.
Well, Lovecraftian era is America in the 1940s.
Yeah, that's just the look. No, 1920s. It's
1920s, excuse me. Yeah. But no, I saw a screenshot of a bunch of different character class types in their various costumes, and a couple were Souls-like with the armor and stuff, and the other 4 looked like hunter costumes from Bloodborne. It was it was definitely a surprise.
Straight homage.
Yeah. I just didn't see that comment. That's all I got. I don't play FF14, but that's just interesting.
I don't think that there is much in the way of gameplay changes. I can't.
Well, no, it wouldn't be gameplay changes. Yeah. I mean, even when I actually did see Mr. Ryu and some of his friends play a campaign of the Nier Automata crossover. It's Final Fantasy XIV, except that there are environments you might find familiar. It's still the same game. So even if they do Souls stuff, it's going to be Final Fantasy XIV. But it's just interesting that they're making this kind of illusion.
Yeah, wow. Huh. Well, I think that it's cool that Final Fantasy XIV has really kind of made its own place in the MMO sphere. I mean, it had such a rough time starting up, and now it seems like it's more interesting than whatever the heck is happening in World of Warcraft. I don't even hear anything about that. I know it's big.
Yeah, they're still releasing expansions and stuff, but this is kind of unfair on my part because my friends play FF14 and not World of Warcraft, so that's why I hear about FF14.
No, but yeah. I feel like even in the the zeitgeist, I hear way. Well, I also follow Japanese centric.
That's the thing.
Video game news. So I mean, maybe it's just my own little echo chamber where I don't hear about Fortnite and things like that. Really
exactly.
Things,
yeah.
But yeah, this is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on from that, King of Fighters 15 was announced previously, I believe, but they did character reveals,
yes.
Which is always fun. Now, the 3 characters that were announced are not new or surprising.
They're especially not new. It's like having a Liu Kang reveal for Mortal Kombat. It's well, all right.
Okay, first of all, even though he hasn't been revealed yet, you know that Terry is going to be in the game.
Yeah, certain characters just have to be there.
So first was Kyo, who has been the main character of King of Fighters.
Yeah, he's the king. He's the Ryu of King of Fighters. Yeah.
He's the main character. Terry is not the main character, surprisingly enough. If you ask somebody, they'll go straight to Terry.
Yeah, nobody cares about Kyo, but Terry is the Art of Fight or Fatal Fury guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Ryu is the Art of Fighting guy.
Yeah, exactly. But Kyo is the main character of King of Fighters,
Mm-hmm.
and always has been. But there have been like other main characters
Yeah.
like that have come in, like K-Dash was the main character for a bit, and then there was I forget his name, but he was a really fashionable looking guy with like these green powers. I think in 13.
Ooh, I'm not
Forget his
sure about
name.
that one.
Yeah. It was a King of Fighters, because that's gonna drive me nuts.
Yeah, I don't know about fashionable guy. I mean, when you said fashionable, my first thought was actually another character who was announced, who's another classic, Benny Maru, the guy with the really tall hair, the guy who was modeled after Polnareff from JoJo.
Yeah. He is the second character that was announced, and he has that. He also has like that leopard print going on.
It
Uh,
depends on which iteration of the game you're playing, but
that's true.
yes, to the
Yeah.
electric
Was it?
powers.
No, it's not Vice. And this. Oh, is it Ash? Yes, it's Ash.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Ash Crimson is the main character of 13.
Okay, yeah, Vice and Mature are Rugel's secretaries, weirdly enough. Or at least Vice is. I'm assuming Mature probably is too. They're like the same character.
Yeah, so Kyo K-Dash, who is a clone of Kyo, or like some clone influenced being of of Kyo. Ash Crimson, which is he's a really cool character. And now Shun A is the I'm sure I'm pronouncing that terribly because it's Chinese. Is going to be the main character of this one. He, I believe, was introduced in the last game.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't recognize that name.
Yeah, he is going to be the new main character.
Okay.
So like I don't know at any given time what the story is in King
Well,
of Fighters.
I mean, if you really think about
complicated.
it, though, that's every fighting game. Like, it's so basic. Here's a bunch of characters and have them fight, but like every single fighting game is the super
Some of them
convoluted
are
plot.
needlessly
Yeah,
complicated.
Mortal
like,
Kombat's
Guilty.
plot is insane. Street Fighter's plot is insane, even though that's literally a fighting tournament. Same goes for Tekken. Tekken's
Guilty
got like
Gears.
clones and robots and shit. You're like, what? It's
Yeah,
so
whole
bizarre.
families fighting.
Yeah, like demons. It's bizarre.
Yeah. So I had no idea. A lot of the really prominent fighting games have like really complex stories now, which build their lore. But I just the people that know them are not me.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But I'm excited because SNK has been making really good games lately. It's really hard to make a fighting game that is both good and popular.
Yeah.
Because like getting it to be popular is very difficult. It involves a lot of community management and constant maintenance of the game, and also like addition of characters and like all kinds of interest going on. So, like Samurai Showdown was a big hit, surprisingly, if you ask me. So I was really happy with that. The last King of Fighters had a bad start, but ended up really good.
Yeah.
It had a major update that gave it a gigantic facelift. That was much needed, honestly. They've been doing some really good stuff lately, so hopefully this one will be good as well. Moving on, some kind of Silent Hill-y news. The director of Silent Hill, who was working for Sony's Japan studio, I believe on like things like Last Guardian, and he worked on Siren back in the day, I think. Also the Last Guardian producer to form Bokeh Game Studio.
Yeah, Bekeh. Bokeh?
Yeah.
Bokeh? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. I mean, there was some really cool output coming from Sony. Obviously, Last Guardian's a cool thing, but Bokeh. Yeah, it's called Bokeh. I spelled it wrong.
Oh well.
Bokeh. But yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful. I mean, if they're all going together, that means that they have a chance to work on a new IP and hopefully maybe even like a spiritual successor to some of the horror games that they're known for. So I'm really excited, but also like cautiously optimistic. I mean, they have autonomy, obviously, but not big money, obviously as well.
Yep.
So, moving on from that, yeah, this is a bad move. Monster Hunter pulls the Monster Hunter movie with Mila Djokovic. It was pulled from mainland China over a racially insensitive joke towards Chinese people. Why did you not know that was going to happen?
Yeah.
In probably the second most important, and maybe even first most important, like theater watching audience in the
Demographic.
entire
Yeah.
world.
And what's
Yeah,
really interesting is that this is not a case of the government getting mad over this. This is like
like just
actually like
people.
the various people in China. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna repeat the joke. It's really infantile.
That's the thing. I heard like the English version of the joke, and I thought it was just like a dumb joke you tell a child. Like what's
Exactly.
a musician's favorite bone? A trombone. It's like it's that kind of joke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's just really stupid. And why did you not realize that in this day and age where like China is an extremely important theater going audience, and
Yeah.
even more so now that COVID hit, you need your movie to do well. And also Monster Hunter World is a very popular game in China right now because it's a PC game.
Yeah.
So like, why would you screw with like one of your main audiences and make fun of them? In a way that could be easily avoided, and also like wasn't very good.
Yeah, I was gonna
Like
say step
many
one, make a
different
good
problems.
movie.
Yeah, many different problems. I mean, nobody expected Paul W.S. Anderson to make a good movie,
Which is sad
except for
because
Event
there
Horizon.
was a time when he did.
And the original Resident Evil, I'll give him that, and Mortal Kombat,
The original Resident Evil was good enough, and Event Horizon.
and Event Horizon. I mentioned that.
Yeah.
And the original Mortal Kombat to me is also the best like video game movie ever. I think it's really good, and captures the source material really well. It's not a masterpiece, but it's one of the best adaptations I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
it's excuses to go from one fight scene to another in a movie that's based entirely around a fighting tournament. Like, what do you want?
Yeah, it's basically Enter the Dragon, but with monsters. It's fine.
Yeah, which is
Um,
appropriate because actual Mortal Kombat is Enter the Dragon, but with monsters.
exactly, it's great. Um, Now this one, I'm starting to wonder about Nintendo. So we previously reported that not reported, but like talked about
Yeah.
here on the episode with Vacathon, and without me, that Nintendo had quashed a Melee tournament, that's the Smash Brothers game for the GameCube, due to the fact that they were using a modified version of Melee that played online, which was not a thing that existed at the time. A fan modded version of it. I didn't really blame them for that one. I know there are a lot of people that are upset by it, but number one, Nintendo doesn't really want you to be playing Melee this day and age. They want you to be playing Ultimate. That's number one, which does have a built-in online mode, if not a good one. And number two, what makes you think that they would ever want you to use a modified version of their game?
Yeah.
And that more than likely was using like partially pirated code in order to work. Not only that, but also, I know that you can probably copy your own copy of the game and extract it and modify it, but the implication is that if you have a modified version of the game, that you more than likely pirated it, or more than likely every most of the people that using it are pirating it.
Yeah.
So I understand their standpoint, and also apparently they tried to work with them on it. So I guess somebody put their foot down, and Nintendo's like, okay, well, no tournament then. Well, now this I'm starting to not be on Nintendo's side. Nintendo quashed a Splatoon tournament recently because there was a team in the Splatoon tournament named Free Melee who was, having named their group in protest of the actions of Nintendo.
On one hand, bunch of babies, but on the other hand, when Nintendo starts quashing
I think they're both wrong.
Speech, yeah.
Honestly, I can see, I can see, protesting, expressing your thought and freedom of speech and all that. That's fine on one regard, but also, did you not think that Nintendo was going to react to it?
Yeah.
Nintendo is famously conservative, even when it comes to things such as Twitch and YouTube streams and recordings and all that stuff. They are famously really tight with that stuff. So there should have been some rule in place to say, hey, you can't go forward if you have something like this going on in the tournament. Now, also Nintendo is also calling attention to this. It's kind of like the
Streisand effect.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the kneeling stuff. The kneeling protest in football games and other sports in America for the Black Lives Matter movement. The NFL really called attention to it by telling people that they couldn't do it. And it works against them. In my opinion, first of all, with this kind of stuff, Black Lives Matter is a way more important.
Yeah, that's an actual political movement and not whining about your video game
message than Free Melee. This is a microcosm. I believe in First Amendment rights and the right to protest, but. I can't get down with Nintendo's
it's a petty response to a petty protest.
Exactly. It's both. But I'm more on side of the gamers on this one, the Free Melee people.
Yeah, I think it's stupid, but they're not violating any laws or rules.
Yeah. I mean, now Nintendo's just clamping down too hard, and I think this is a little bit more than a little ridiculous. You should let them have their say, and then that's it. And it'll leave the consciousness eventually. Unless they keep being ridiculous. So, yeah. I mean, I think it's a stupid situation, and it's really sad to see an entire tournament over a current game. Splatoon 2. That's a really good game that deserves some attention to be quashed just because of this. It really stinks. Moving on from there, I wish somebody would have moved on it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I before I move on, I have to say this. I wish somebody would have not taken didn't put their foot down. I wish that maybe that group would have changed their name. Instead of, I don't know. It's just a funky thing. Anyway, moving on. Persona 5 Scramble, which we've all been really waiting on bated breath for news on, is now confirmed for North America for PS4 and Switch early next year. This is a big relief to a lot of people, but also big relief mainly to a lot of screaming babies online. I don't know if you've followed a lot of the Nintendo fans and how they act, but this is one of the games that they always go into every thread about and ask and cause chaos over. I am glad for it, but I'm also don't support babies either. So this is really cool. I don't know why it took them so long to confirm with this. Maybe it was. Maybe there's some stuff going on with Atlas concerning the Persona series that they don't let out. That in North America in particular, maybe there's some kind of deal going on with exclusivity when it comes to Sony stuff. I believe it because have you ever seen another Persona game on a non-Sony console? I don't think it exists other than
Jack Bros for Virtual Boy.
No, I mean Persona.
Specifically Persona?
Specifically Persona. There have been SMT games up the wazoo on Nintendo platforms. First of all, anything in the modern era, you have SMT4, which is their flagship series. Shin Megami Tensei 4, and like all their other games on the DS. There were tons of games on the DS and 3DS that they put out.
Yeah, there was actually, I think Japan only, there was a Shin Megami Tensei game for the Xbox.
Oh, 9, yeah. 9. Yeah, that's one of the least favorite games that you should even really be sad about. But what I'm saying is Persona has really never appeared on any other console. You have Persona 4 Golden, which did get a PC port, but it still hasn't gotten a port to anything else other than a Sony platform in terms of consoles. So I don't think... I think there's something else going on there, but for now, the only Persona-related thing on Nintendo systems had been Joker in Smash, right?
Well, there's Persona Q, right?
I forgot
the Etrian Odyssey
Persona
style
Q
game.
And Persona Q2.
The dungeon crawler, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But
I think that might be as far as it goes, though.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, maybe it's just Persona 5. 5 just took a while to get together. Persona 5 Scramble. So what this is, if you're not in the know, this is the Musou game, the Warriors game for Persona. So it's pretty cool that it's coming. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are very happy. I kind of have a lot of Musou games to catch up on. Even though I don't like most of them, I have like a few favorites that I have, and I have my Fist of the North Star one, or two of them.
Yeah, there's two.
I have my Zelda ones, so...
Yeah, I gotta do the Zelda ones, and I also have, like, the Warriors game, like Warriors All-Stars on the PS4.
Yeah. That has Samurai Warriors in it as well, right?
I don't even know.
Okay.
Haven't played it yet. The only thing I knew about it, it just threw me off, is you could play as, I think his name is William, the Neo guy.
Yeah. And this is a pretty cool thing just to talk about real quick, just since I mentioned Fist of the North Star, but the English manga is finally coming to the United States officially with a good faith effort to release the whole series, which I am so excited about.
It's from the 80s, but this will still be a first.
It hasn't been done in the modern era. There was an attempt a couple of attempts back in the 90s that never went anywhere, so I'm really excited for this, but it is up for pre-order finally on Amazon for summer 2021. The first volume is going to be a hardbound one, kind of like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, that's another manga that was like finally released.
Yeah. It's going to be really nice. It's a $20 one, but it's going to surely be worth it.
Unlike JoJo, it has an ending.
Yeah. And then this next one is yours.
Yeah, I had almost forgotten about this one, but Season 4 of Attack on Titan, by the time you're hearing this, will have released Episode 1, so I'm very excited to see it. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you what it is about, because if I even describe what I assume the basic setting and premise is going to be, it's going to be like a mid-to-end Season 3 spoiler, because they went in like a different direction at a certain point. But Season 4 should be the last season. Although I'm not 100%, I think they might be splitting it into two halves like they did with Season 3. So even when I finally watch this, it's not going to be fully over. But I'm excited. The series only has 4 seasons, but it started like in 12 or 13 or something. It took forever for Season 2 to come out. It was like 5 years. So I'm super hyped.
That's awesome. I need to catch up on that show. I enjoyed what I watched of it and read of it. I read like the first 2 tankobons in the manga. but I really need to catch up on it.
It's one of those things where you forget what time it is because it takes so long for seasons to come out, especially season 2, and by the time you're mid to end,
It's like Berserk.
no, yeah, that
or,
was a
or
quick
Venture
trip.
Brothers.
But by the time you're part way or toward the end of season 2, they address that it's been it was a few days or a couple weeks or something, and you're that's it. There's a part where Eren kills a Titan, and he's I finally killed my first Titan, and I'm oh yeah, it's been forever.
That's awesome. I'll have to catch up on that because I need a new show to watch because I just finished my big project. More on that.
Well, brace yourself because especially the early seasons are rough watches because people will die.
Yeah, well that's actually a mark of a good show is some real stakes involved. So that's pretty cool. Moving on from that, G-Rev, or as it's supposed to be pronounced, Grev, but you probably wouldn't have known what Grev was unless I said G-Rev. Famous developer for they're a shmup developer, so probably the most famous things that they're known for is Gradius 5, Under Defeat, and was it Border Down?
Was Under Defeat? I might be getting this wrong, but was Under Defeat that American only Amazon title?
Yes, they came out in Japan, but there was an America only deluxe version of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that got really good DLC. It is one of the best shmups I've ever played. They make some of the best shmups ever. Gradius 5 and Under Defeat are two of my favorite shmups ever. If I'm going to recommend shmups to people, those two are really good. Under Defeat, you're helicopters in that one. It's really, really fun. It was one of the post-mortem Dreamcast games initially, but then they made HD versions.
Yeah, it was a PS3 release and maybe 360?
PS3, you're right.
Okay.
But it is an excellent game. They're also known for a lot of other stuff like Senko no Rande, Vortex Hunt Senko no Rande, which is a bullet hell
It's
fighting
Rondo,
game.
Right?
What?
It's Rondo, isn't it?
It's Rande, I think. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I'll check. Maybe I'm confusing it with Rondo of Blood or something.
Yeah, I Senko no Rande. Yeah,
it is Rande. Okay.
Yeah. And there are a bunch of sequels that have come to America as well. But it's a cool concept. They are doing another experimental game that is an escape adventure game / shmup, which an escape adventure game is similar to 999 or
sure.
What's that series called? Zero Escape games.
Yeah, that's the sequel. But yeah, the whole thing you can call the nonary games.
The nonary games. Okay, so
it was Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward was the second one, and then Zero Time Dilemma was the third.
Gotcha. So it's called Yuru Kill the Callumination.
Oh no! Think of like a disaster, like a calumny. So a calumniation, I'm assuming.
Calumniation. I'm sorry.
That's my assumption. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's calumniation. I've never seen that word before in my life. But it's.
I wonder if it's a Japanese not a real word.
Yeah, Englishism.
Like when they do those when they do those German name game titles, I think those are real German words, but It's just that Rosenkreuzstilett. It's what?
Duodecim.
Duodecim.
I mean that's Latin, but still, yeah. I know what you mean.
What duodenum in my large intestine? What?
My duodenum. But it's coming to Switch in 2021. I believe that is Japanese date. But a lot of stuff like that has been coming to the U.S., so I don't doubt that it will come to the U.S. So I'm pretty happy about that. So and Grev makes awesome shmups, so I'm really looking forward to that. Speaking of, Rolling Gunner Overpower DLC was previously released. This was a doujin shmup, a fan-made shmup game that is poised to become one of the best shmups of all time. Like, people love it, especially from the shmups community. But also a lot of it's very beginner friendly. On top of it, it's kind of like Crimson Clover when I talked about that. Like, Crimson Clover is a really awesome game in that it's very accessible, but is really good on the upper end as well. So with shmups, you don't get that very often. You get high level play and it murders you before you know what to do. So these games have been really great. But it came out. There was this overpowered DLC that came to the PC version a little while ago. But it's finally come to Switch in Japan, and they say that the US version of that DLC will come very shortly. But apparently improves the game even further. Everybody really loves it, and the Switch version, I think people are saying that the Switch version is the definitive version. Like, you don't want the PC version over this, so because they improved the graphics quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to that. Really am, because it's a really fun game. Moving on from that, Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon, and the Blade of Light, the original Famicom Fire Emblem game, is finally coming over in English in its original form, officially translated and released by Nintendo. Really cool stuff. They with modern conveniences, save states and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, this has been a thing for a while, right? They had the pre-order for the collector's edition for.
Yeah, they had the pre-order, but now it's finally out.
Okay.
So just really happy about that. Definitely pick it up. It's only $5.99. You will regret not buying it because it is a limited time release, just like several of their other
the
projects.
Mario All-Star, 3D All-Stars.
3D All-Stars, yeah. So definitely pick it up. A lot of people are saying how much fun they're having with it because the series, while it has progressed, had really good bones to begin with. So a lot of people are saying it's not as archaic as you think an 8-bit version of Fire Emblem might be.
Which does make sense. I mean, those games are like... I mean, it's hard to beat a level, but the mechanics, I don't think have really changed much up until, like, Awakening, when they did, like, the marriage and have child stuff. But, like, as far as the battles are concerned, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult because every Fire Emblem game is difficult.
Yeah.
There is permadeath in it, unlike the newer games, which you can turn that on and off depending on your play style. But other than that, it pretty much has what you need to play the game, and you won't get super frustrated.
Yeah.
So
sword beats bow, bow beats axe, axe beats sword. Like, that's the game.
Yeah, it's a Trinity system. It's a Trinity system, is what they call, like a rock paper scissors system.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Also, John Romero's Empire of Sin has been released. So John Romero is famously one of the major designers involved in the creation of Doom and Doom 2. He has made us his bitch once again.
I was going to say something about that. Oh, you're not making me your bitch this time.
And apparently the reviews are kind of middling, so it's a bit of a disappointment that Empire of Sin. People were looking forward to what looked to be an XCOM-y like tactics version of like almost like an XCOM, but during Prohibition era kind of stuff, and apparently it's not challenging enough. Like people are saying that it's not challenging and it gets repetitive. So that's a shame. Hopefully it can be fixed up and maybe it'll have some life elsewhere. But you hate to see one of your heroes make something, spend a lot of time and then not do well with it.
Well, maybe he could add a little level where he speaks backwards in it.
Maybe.
That'll solve all the problems.
That'll make it 100%.
Now I want a level skip to it.
All the criticism will then leave. And I just wanted to throw this out there. Sam & Max Save the World, which is a remake of Season 1, Sam & Max Season 1.
Oh, really? That's the only one I've played.
Is now on Switch. Oh, you never played the Scum one?
No, the
The
only one I've
Scum one's
played was the
great.
first Telltale one.
You should go back and at least play the Scum one.
I think
Apparently,
I have it. That was Hit the Road.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I think I have that on GOG.
That one's amazing, and the apparently the season 3 is excellent. Like everybody always.
There is one other Sam Max experience I've had because I'm a true Sam of Max fan. You can encounter Max in Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2.
Oh, nice.
Like, weirdly, he's very hard to find. Like, you have to know. Like, you're not going to find him by accident.
Speaking of Dark Forces, I actually have Dark Forces news. Oddly enough, I told you this earlier this week, and
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of you already know this. This isn't a spoiler; it's more of a wink and a nod than anything. But there are Dark Troopers now in the mainstream continuity of Star Wars. Dark Troopers are famously the main they're like the main antagonists of the original Dark Forces and the MacGuffin because that was like where everything was leading towards in the game. And Dark Troopers are basically Terminators in that look like stormtroopers. They are not human. At one point you collect one of their weapons, and it's like the most badass like BFG style weapon.
I love stuff like that where you get the weird alien weapon. You're like, yes.
Yeah, it's really cool. But it's kind of they show up for like I don't know, like half a second.
Yeah, was that a Dark Trooper?
Well, no, they show up earlier, and I wondered about it, but like Gus Fring, what's his name, Giancarlo Esposito's character in Mandalorian, he's like the main bad guy, main antagonist of Mandalorian. He says send out the Dark Troopers, and you go, oh shit, they are Dark Troopers.
You know what I want to see? Prince Shizor and Jarek. Bring them out.
That may actually happen because I mean they just added Thrawn.
Yeah, I doubt Shadows of the Empire is going to happen, but Shizor himself theoretically could.
Or Dash Rendar. I mean, why not?
Maybe. I want to see Jarek real bad.
I mean, Ahsoka. Ahsoka is now a main character, or not a main character.
Well, she's been around. She's been in the Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah, but this you have to recognize that a live action version has more weight to it.
Yeah, but I mean, still, she's been in the canon though. Dark Troopers have not.
Sure. No, you're right.
Yeah.
So
I want to see
and
Bokeh.
so
Bring out Bokeh.
Bosch, you mean?
No, I mean I think it's Bok, maybe Boc. Bokeh. That's it.
Oh, is that one of the bounty hunters?
That's Bosk. No, who was in Empire, so he exists. But no, Bokeh is like Jarek's number 2 or 3 man.
Oh.
He's like a Twi'lek, like Ahsoka, and
Gotcha.
he wields 2 lightsabers, and he's fucking annoying to fight because his AI just keeps jumping, which like you expect a player to do that, not a fucking AI in a single player game. You're like, oh no.
But yeah, I had to say that The Mandalorian, just as a quick aside, is the best Star Wars thing to happen since the original trilogy.
Yeah.
It is so good. I can definitively say it. I mean, it's doing. Some people are complaining, oh, now they're just doing winks and nods, but like they're not doing it in an annoying way like they did in Rogue One.
Well, that's the thing. Like, this isn't just like Rogue One gave winks and nods to the original trilogy. This is giving winks and nods to extended universe stuff, which is like making it
never
canon,
had a
so
chance.
it has significance.
Yeah, Dark Troopers had only ever been in Dark Forces 1, to my knowledge.
That's the thing. Like, Rogue One was like, remember that thing from Episode 4? And we're like, well, we know the first Star Wars movie is canon. You know, that's where it came from. But like the idea that you would mention Thrawn, like that was never given the green light by Lucas. You know, so it's a big deal.
Yeah, Thrawn had previously been in, I believe, Rebels. So it is not the first time that he is in mainstream continuity, but it's really cool that he has been mentioned in a live action. He has not been shown yet. Also, what happens in the most recent episode of Mandalorian is one of the coolest things. It's just a lot of fun. And it was directed by Robert Rodriguez too. So,
So was Bruce Willis in it?
what do you like? Sin City is that what you're talking about?
No, Planet Terror with the Grindhouse movie.
He wasn't in that.
Sure was.
Bruce Willis?
Yep. Pretty sure.
No, Planet Terror had Quentin Tarantino in it.
Well,
as one of the characters, and it was Kurt Russell, wasn't it?
No, Kurt Russell was Death Proof.
No, but he was also in he was also in Planet Terror.
I don't recall that, but Bruce Willis was in there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he was not a main character.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one in a long time. I've seen Death Proof recently, but I haven't seen Planet Terror.
Yeah, no, he's in it for sure. But I don't even recall Kurt Russell being in that, but he was like the protagonist and villain of Death Proof.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And that's not a spoiler, by the way. They make that very obvious very early.
He's very clearly the bad guy since the beginning of that movie. But I love the Grindhouse. I thought it was great. But anyway, I just thought this was really cool, and also like the episodes themselves have just been so much fun. They're very Monster of the Weeky, which is really cool and refreshing for an adventure. What began as an adventure series, he goes on an adventure. It moves the plot forward just a tiny bit each time.
Yeah, well, what I've seen a lot of people praising the show about is its predictability. Not necessarily that you know how an episode's going to end, but
that's
like
just fun.
Well, yeah, because there's been complaints about like J.J. Abrams because he was doing the new trilogy, where like stuff like what he does and kind of, I don't know if he really did it for Star Trek, but like for Star Wars he was doing it where like, what's the mystery? Keep watching the movies to find out, and not everything needs that. You know, sometimes you watch a show because it's fun and that's it.
Yeah, and what they've been doing this season has been really, really fun. I really, really have been enjoying it. It's directed well. It definitely has undertones of samurai and Western movies, which is what Star Wars was based off of samurai and Western movies and serials, like Flash Gordon. So
yeah, well, I saw a couple of side-by-side posts of like shots from the Mandalorian and like Yojimbo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you look hard enough, there's all kinds of references to even visually to cowboy movies and samurai movies, which are intrinsically linked to begin with.
A lot of cowboy movies are just Western remakes of samurai movies, and Star Wars has guns and swords.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yojimbo has gun and swords.
It's really cool. I'm really, really enjoying it. Moving on from that, I did want to report on this just because like it's pretty fun. I've been talking about the Atomiswave to Dreamcast conversions that the community has been working on, and Ranger Mission, a light gun compatible game, has been released by the fan community. So again, these are not emulations of Atomiswave arcade games, but actual genuine ports. They run directly off of hardware. You need to have a optical drive emulator to play them, but it's really cool. And you can use either a controller or the Dreamcast light gun in order to play this. So really cool. Also, Quibi, everybody's favorite streaming platform.
Everybody's favorite meme, yeah.
And Whipping Boy has now officially ended. It has officially died.
So like maybe you'll get a couple of internet points if anybody can name literally one show that was on Quibi.
I can. I was going to mention the one show that I would have wanted to watch, which is the revival of Reno 911.
The only I knew there was going to be a Junji Ito something and I didn't know what.
Yeah, they were going to do a Tomei
Alright.
Tomie.
Like anthology or something.
Yeah, they were going to do some kind of project.
And there was something, by the way, I saw somebody mention it on Twitter, like, what? Why didn't anybody talk about this show? I would have watched this show. And apparently, there was
the
some
Jack
kind
Sparrow
of...
thing?
Yeah, there was some kind of reality show, like Big Brother, where everyone lives in a house, but, like, everybody is dressed up as and has to act like Jack Sparrow, and if you break character, you lose. And it's like... That's hilarious because it's so out of date, like, just from the start.
That's
kind
so
of
funny.
what adds to its charm. It's just like, what is this show? What are you doing? That's funny as hell.
Though. It was a joke. It's not real.
Oh no! Okay.
Yeah.
I was fooled. I was bamboozled.
Somebody linked to a pic of a fake Wikipedia article.
Oh, okay.
And,
I was like, this sounds great.
The best details were like, a couple of
like
them
had to a fight or whatever.
Yeah. So some of them, some of the people got kicked off because they got in a fight. Somebody got kicked off the show because they were within a certain distance.
Like within an elementary school or something.
of an elementary school, which has other implications.
He's just dressed up as Jack Sparrow, acting like Jack Sparrow, like a jackass.
It's just whoever wrote that and created that.
That's funny as hell.
Very like chef's kiss to you.
So basically, one of the only shows I wouldn't have minded seeing like an episode of. I couldn't watch a whole show of that, but like an episode doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Yeah.
All right.
Also, Quibi shows I think are 15 minutes long. So
that's another thing. Yeah, they're specifically designed to be short because you'd like watch an episode on your phone because it was like restricted to your phone.
Yeah, nah. I mean, I just hope that the Reno 911 stuff survives. I think
I hope that people who actually made like quality shows don't have all of their work disappear because Quibi sucks.
Yeah, apparently one of the things that was good about Quibi was that it had it emphasized creator-owned content. So I believe everybody or most of everybody is going to retain their properties. So. That's cool. That's good if that is true. I just have hearsay on that, but I have hope for maybe them releasing Reno 911 on a website or something like that, so you could rewatch it, or maybe it gets packaged with the old series, because that series was hilarious. I really loved it, and I even like the movie that they capped it off with. It's really funny. But a lot of famous people came from that, and like have TV shows now elsewhere, so it's pretty awesome. But I just hope I didn't get a chance to see this because it was on a platform I could not care less about. So I would join Apple TV before I get on Quibi, and even there's no chance in hell that I'm going to join Apple TV anytime soon. So it's just one of those things. This I should have mentioned along with the I guess the Star Wars talk. But Oscar Isaac, the actor who plays Poe Dameron, was confirmed to play Solid Snake in the film for Metal Gear Solid. Take that with a grain of salt, because who the hell knows whether it will actually come to fruition.
Yeah, not to mention the article I saw that everybody was retweeting was like the weakest article in the world. It was like, sources tell us.
Yeah.
The fuck does that mean? I could write an article that says that.
Not only that, but they are posting it with pictures of Venom Snake, who is not Solid Snake.
Yeah, that's like a parody. I mean, I know they're all clones and they're all the same person, but like, if you've played the games, you would know. I actually missed that, but yeah.
Well, they clearly show you Snake from 5, and Snake from 5 is
That's
not
true.
Snake
That's true. Yeah, if it's a snake that I don't recognize, then I guess it's Venom Snake.
But I mean, I know why they're posting it, because like he looks the same. Number one.
Yeah, he does have a look. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it just pisses me off that like everybody on the whole internet's like, dude, this Deadline posted this article. Sources tell us that Oscar Isaac's gonna be in the movie, and that's like the whole article. Are you fucking kidding me?
All the Metal Gear Solid nerds are like, no, that's Venom Snake.
Yeah, that's quite funny as well.
I could explain it to you, but you won't like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, also video game movies don't have a good track record. They just don't.
That's the thing. Like the whole thing with Metal Gear Solid, like, you could do like an espionage movie. Like you could definitely do that, but like a lot of what makes Metal Gear Solid interesting is like It's like what made Silent Hill 2 interesting. It's like your own revelations as you play it, rather than like, I mean, you can still make it work. You can make it like a Mission Impossible kind of movie. I don't doubt that you could make a Metal Gear Solid movie. Have Kojima direct it. He's always wanted to make movies. Like, I believe that it could happen.
At playing around with their own medium, so like in very specific ways. So
yeah.
Like the Metal Gear games know that they are video games, and part of the fun of them is that they are video games, and they know.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 1 has Psycho Mantis messing with your TV. Metal Gear Solid 2 directly addresses that it's a video game. Metal Gear Solid 3 comes very close to this. Metal Gear Solid 4 comes very close to this.
There's all kinds of things in 5 that I could get into, but you haven't even played that one.
Yeah, so I easily believe that 5 can do that too. I just happen to have not played it.
Yeah, 5 is like, conceptually is one of the coolest or most angering things that you could ever think of. But
it was all a video game the whole time.
Well, that's what 2 was, so they can't.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2. A lot of the players were like, "This feels like Metal Gear Solid 1," and then like the game was like, "Yep, this was a recreation of Shadow Modus." And you're like, "Oh."
VR, man.
And the funny thing is, even Metal Gear Solid 1 was basically a 3D remake of Metal Gear 2.
Yeah. Well, the story beats and the revelations in 5 are absolutely worth it. So definitely check it out. It's so much fun. Plus the gameplay, it will never get better.
I did really play Ground Zeroes, and I couldn't believe it. It was amazing.
It gets even better in the proper game. So moving on from that, this is actually something that has been good. Video game TV shows have been great lately. The track record for video game TV shows has been a lot better than movies.
Like Mortal Kombat, Defenders of the Realm.
I mean, like The Witcher.
I know, I'm talking like 30 years ago. Like, what do you want from me?
Castlevania oddly has a really great series.
Well, the thing with The Witcher, though, the TV series I think was more of a book adaptation than a game adaptation.
Yeah, but people know it.
Well, yeah, they tuned in because the game. Yeah, like how many of you were importing the Polish novels?
Yeah, I mean, you're splitting hairs with me on that one, I think, but you know what I mean.
The video game was the draw, but then they were like, this isn't what happened in The Witcher 3, and it's like, I think it was more the books.
That's like saying that, like, the Dr. Sleep movie is,
Well,
like,
that was a simultaneous book and movie sequel,
which is great.
That was bizarre. Yeah,
I actually really like that movie. But anyway, Netflix has released a series based on the was it Taiwanese horror game Detention.
Oh, this is wow.
Yeah.
Huh. They were gonna release fuck. Well, the joke's gone now. They were gonna release a TV show based on the sequel, but the entire thing got canned because one little Easter egg pissed off the leader of China. What the fuck was the name of that sequel?
It starts with a D as well.
I know, that's why it's driving me crazy.
I forget.
Whatever, I'll Google it. You keep going.
Yeah, was it Red Candle Games?
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is really cool. I mean,
Devotion.
Devotion, that's correct.
They were going to release a Devotion TV show. I told the joke. Yeah.
It had too much Winnie the Pooh in it.
Jesus.
I wish I was.
Quiet, Vice. You want to get our podcast canceled?
I wish I was joking that was the reason why.
Yeah.
That is like, look it up. It's about Winnie the Pooh.
Yep.
But Netflix has released a Detention series, so I will be watching that. I mean, Asian horror is great usually, so I'm
yeah,
really
it's often creepy and dreadful rather than startling. Americans, I'm not saying American horror is just startling. It's just that a lot of the most popular stuff is.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that gets attention, for sure.
I mean, like there is still a fair amount of just like straight up creepy movies, but those aren't like hyped as much.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on from that, this is a huge news piece when it comes to like streaming stuff. But Warner Brothers has announced that all of their 2021 movies, all of them, will be released on HBO Max and theater simultaneously.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
What?
That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. HBO Max may be one of my favorite, probably my favorite streaming service. It is excellent, and it's a shame that it isn't getting. Until now, it wasn't getting the attention it deserves. I don't think, because this is the one that Warner Brothers owns, so they have tons of Warner Brothers movies going all the way back to the 20s and 30s. And Warner Brothers has been a gigantic influence on film culture and all that. So they have like all the Looney Tunes. They have they have all the Miyazaki movies. They have like the Studio Ghibli stuff. They have Sesame Street stuff, and Adult Swim. They have all of like Adult Swim's content, like all of it, going all the way back. Like you can watch Space Ghost on it, coast to coast. It's really 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 cool. I love it. I've been watching like movies that like you would normally need to like have like a Criterion Collection DVD to watch. Like I watched a bunch of the Coen Brothers movies on there. I watched Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me on HBO Max recently. It's really, really freaking good, and it has its own, and it has all of the HBO content on top of that. If you want to go back and watch Sopranos or Watchmen, which was my favorite series of last year, it's awesome stuff. It's totally worth getting. But now they're getting like brand new movies like that are like first run movies that people are really looking forward to. You have Wonder Woman 1984, which we announced this one because they came out with this one, but this was like the only one that they had announced. Now all the rest of them, the new Dune adaptation, Lin-Manuel Miranda's In the Heights, which is set to be Lin-Manuel Miranda is the hottest playwright nowadays due to Hamilton. The Suicide Squad, which I was actually really looking forward to because that's a James Gunn directed reboot, I guess, soft reboot. So I'm really looking forward to that. It has a ton of characters that I know are going to die left and right. The Arm Fall Off Boy is, oh my god, like Nathan Fillion as Arm Fall Off Boy. Chef's kiss, so good. Stupid stuff. The Matrix 4, which, like, I don't even know what that can be, considering that the main character died at the end of, and the main antagonist, both of them died at the end of the third movie. So, I'm not spoiling anything, and you won't want to watch it anyway. So,
this is true.
But
I watched it in the theaters.
Me too.
That was it.
Yep. But I'm actually cautiously optimistic because this doesn't have the pressure of being a like the end of a trilogy and like all this like anticipation for it. Like there's a much different vibe coming from it. It's like, what the hell is this even? So I'm excited. I mean, you can literally do anything in the world of Matrix. You could say, "Oh, that was a simulation." Oh, this is another revolution of Neo trying again. You could do anything.
You can have an entire movie of a conversation with the architect.
I would watch that.
Ergo, vis-a-vis, concordantly.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I still love that parody though with Will Ferrell.
That parody.
Ergo.
I wear the big boy pants. Yeah, if you can find it, watch the MTV Movie Awards parody with Justin Timberlake and Seann William Scott.
It's very funny.
Wanda Sykes. Who else is in there? Will Ferrell, obviously. A few other really famous comedians are in there. It's really funny. It's really funny. It's actually better than the second Matrix movie.
Yeah, like if you're gonna watch the second Matrix movie, watch the very long highway chase scene because that's still great.
I mean, there are good sections, right?
Well, the fight in the chateau actually is spectacular.
Yeah, there are really good sections of 2. It's just when it gets to the continuity bit is like the action bits are top notch. They're really fun. That highway scene is amazing, but yeah, it's one of those things. A new Tom and Jerry movie, which I know everybody's excited for. And
Yes.
Space Jam 2. This one's with LeBron James, I think, right?
Yeah, people have been like rumoring about that for years. I can't believe it's actually going to happen.
Maybe they'll actually address what the chaos dunk that ruined everything in the first one.
I can't believe the b-ball talent was stolen by the Monstars.
Her head was shaped like a b-ball.
It's perfectly round, like a b-ball.
Please watch our Let's Play
Of Shut Up and Jam Gaiden.
It's probably the funniest game I've ever played in my life. It's really good. And this is some good news. Elliot Page comes out as a transgender male. He is the star of course, Juno, and
yeah, I know him mainly from Juno, and this
Umbrella
is weird
Academy.
because yeah, I haven't seen Umbrella Academy.
Really good.
Also Inception.
And Inception, yeah.
And so actually, this is one main thing that I know him from, although I haven't yet played it. But Beyond Two Souls, the David Cage game, which also had Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, and famously, the main character of Last of Us is based off of him.
Yeah. I remember there was a bit of a controversy about that, where it's like, I didn't give you permission to use my likeness.
Yeah, it's like without permission, and
it's not one-to-one, but you can very clearly tell it was inspired.
Even named after him. But yeah, I mean, really, really happy for him to come out and be self-realized and all that. It's really great. And also, I don't think it's going to affect his acting career because...
from what I've heard in Umbrella Academy, the character is staying the same.
The character wouldn't be out of place being a transgender.
Yeah, they're just going forward with it, yeah.
Yeah. So, and the creator of that show, the guy from, what is it? The Black Parade. What is that? My Chemical Romance. That guy. I think he's totally cool with, making the transition for the character and supporting Elliot. So that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
All about that, and very, very happy for them. So, moving on. Rest in peace. A bit of bummer news for Hugh Keays-Byrne, known for playing the antagonist in both Mad Max 1 and Mad Max Fury Road. Two separate characters, Toe Cutter and Immortan Joe.
Yeah, one of them is a thug, and the other is fucking Immortan Joe.
Immortan Joe is one of the best antagonists in any action movie ever.
He's nuts.
His performance as him was spot on and fucking incredible.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, by the way, when I'm not trying to downplay Toe Cutter. Like, Toe Cutter is actually genuinely intimidating in Mad Max 1, but when you look at what's happening...
low budget, almost student film.
Well, that's the thing. When you look at what's happening in Mad Max 1, the bad guys are punks.
Yeah.
But it is a whole other thing in Fury Road.
Fury Road is one of the best movies ever made. And
I remember Red Letter Media mentioning, people say that Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, the whole movie's a car chase scene, but it's really not. It's just the end scene is very long.
Yeah, it's about 10 to 15 minutes long, which
is insane for a real car chase scene.
Stagecoach back in the 30s or 40s.
Oh, the John Wayne movie?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Fury Road almost actually is entirely a chase. It's not entirely, but a lot of that movie is a chase.
It's 90%.
It's most of it, yeah.
It's the setup, then you go for a chase, and then they get to some place, and then they come all the way back and have a second chase. So,
yep.
It is basically all... The entire movie is on the road.
If you ever want your adrenaline to flow, look no further.
Fury Road is just so iconic. If you haven't watched it, you don't need to watch any of it has no baggage.
It stands alone, yeah.
You don't need to watch the other three movies. You should watch Road Warrior, but that's besides the point. But
you should just watch Road Warrior anyway. You don't need
exactly.
to see Road Warrior to get Fury Road.
Exactly, and all the movies kind of stand on their own. That's kind of
They
Like,
really
there's
kind of
not much
do,
continuity.
yeah.
There's
I
not
mean,
much
like, the closest you could come is, like, civilization has gotten worse and worse, but, like, that doesn't... It's not part of the plot, really.
Yeah, but you don't need to know any background other than maybe having some explanation as to what Max used to be before the fall.
Fury Road even gives you that. Like, you'll see, like, shots of, like, visions of his dead daughter. Okay, he's a guy whose daughter died. That's all. You're good.
Yeah, exactly. But he did such a fantastic job as Immortan Joe, and it's sad to see him pass away. Also, I believe the actor who played Squiggy on Laverne and Shirley passed away. David L. Lander versus Michael McKean passed away as well due to complications with MS. So that's a big bummer too, because he's obviously played a very iconic character versus a very famous comedian. Michael McKean was extremely saddened by this, obviously, because he was his on-screen duo for was it 7 years, something like that. So just wanted to pay these people their due because they were both fantastic icons. Do you have any other things that you wanted to bring up here, Lotus, before we wrap the day up?
I think that's it for me.
Okay, that's the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and Soundcloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. Helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, where we'll do a now playing kind of update. We haven't done a bit of one of those in a bit, so just what's going on in our lives, recent purchases and other things like that, just to do a catch up on that. And that is the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much everything.
And you could follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, such as Jade Cocoon, which I am currently uploading, getting in on exclusive live streams.
I really like playing the demo of that game back in the day.
That game ain't bad.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah. So getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, which includes Jade Cocoon, and getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/lotusprince.
All right, everybody, we will catch up with you on Thursday. See you then.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.